Old School Scribe podcast, and this is a very special edition. It's the first time we've had a former player on, and it would have to be none other than the great TJ Houshmandzadeh. Hoosh, thanks for joining us on this Colts weekend.
You good, Hop, man? How you been?
Good. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Just watching a little Major League Baseball playoffs on TV.
Yeah, you're gonna watch the game later tonight? Well, you get the Chiefs on there, right?
Oh yeah, I'm watching the Astros and the Devil Rays now,
Yeah.
and then I'll watch the Dodgers even the series against the Atlanta Braves.
Big Dodger fan, right? You're a big Dodger fan, aren't you?
Yes, all things LA minus football.
Hoosh, why don't you just catch us up on what you've been doing? What the kids are doing and how the wife is?
The wife is good. She's sitting right here. My oldest two daughters are off in college, and then I have an 8-year-old daughter, and a 6-year-old son that should be in the NFL in about 10 to 16 years.
And the oldest girls are big softball players, right?
Yeah, they're softball players, yeah.
And they're playing at, where are they? Are they at LSU?
LSU, yep, playing college at LSU, yeah.
Okay. And so you know all about Joe Burrow, Hoosh?
I was the first guy on television to speak highly of Joe Burrow, and everybody thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
And then look what happened.
And then you actually work with him, right? On the field.
Yeah, I was out there when he trained with Jordan, and then me and Joe kind of got to know each other after the field work because I would always go in the weight room with the guys, and he was kind of to himself for a while. At least he was towards me. Yeah. Then he started to open up, the more he saw me around.
Yeah. I remember you were telling me the first week, everything you threw wobbled, right? And then the second week, ba-boom.
Yeah, the first week was rough for him, and I think it was rough. He hadn't thrown since the national championship game, and I think he was kind of banged up from that game. Right. But yeah, after that first week, everything was right here. It was like all the guys were commenting on it, not even the receivers, the quarterbacks as well.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe how accurate he was.
Yeah. Now you've been on him from the get-go. What have you seen? I know I talked to you before the Baltimore game, but I think and that did not go good. But you've been involved with plenty of games against Baltimore that went like that. They get you down and they blitz the heck out of you.
He's done well. The Bengals have to figure out the interior of that offensive line, and once they figure that out, they'll be fine. Baltimore is going to put pressure on you, and they're going to make you adjust to them. And all year, it's not even Baltimore. The Bengals have had problems keeping them clean and protecting them. And once they figure that out, things will start to trend in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yeah. What do you see happening this week? They're playing a top-ranked Colts defense.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because of what you just said. The Colts have a really, really good defense. Obviously, coming off a loss to Cleveland, they're going to be upset about that. But Phillip Rivers kind of gave that game to Cleveland more so than Cleveland took that game from the Colts. And so they're going to be ready to go. Yeah. And you're playing a good defense, but the Colts don't bring a lot of pressure.
Right.
And so if the Bengals are able to block their front four, this should be a game where Joe this would be a game to where he should have a little time. The Bengals should be able to block that front four without a ton of pressure. But the Bengals have been, what word am I looking for? Struggling to do that this season.
Well, I think you're right. I think the Colts blitz second least of anybody in the league, I guess, percentage-wise. But they've also got some fellows up there named Buckner and Justin Houston who can still play a little bit.
Justin Houston can come off the edge, and Buckner can get pressure up the middle. And if I'm the Bengals, I can't let either one of those guys beat me. I can chip Houston, and I can double Buckner, and just hope Jonah Williams can hold his own out there. If if Jonah Williams is going against Houston, I like to see how that would play out if I'm the Bengals initially. I think he has a pedigree to where he should be able to hold his own. But if not, you got to chip the end and double the interior guy.
I think they feel like Williams has gotten better every game. I think.
For me, watching, he's done well. It's the interior where they struggled. They've struggled a little bit on the outside of right tackle as well. But if they can figure that out and keep him protected, and that's the thing, the Colts don't blitz, and the Bengals have guys on the outside that can beat you.
We had an interesting Zoom conference today with AJ Green, who basically called himself out for being frustrated. Said he loafed on the interception. I think he's been a little hard on himself, but he says that the frustration has gotten the best of him. Has gotten the best of him, and he's talked to some guys around the league. He talked to his parents, and he feels like he's in a good place now. But here you got one of the greatest Bengals of all time, trying to find it. Very honest news conference today. It was really a remarkable news conference today.
He should be frustrated. Like people got to understand, like, they need to get off of this. Like, AJ Green's a human being. He has emotions, and he's probably the best receiver in Bengals history, him or Chad, and it's probably AJ. When you're not getting the ball and you're losing, you're going to be frustrated.
Right.
And so, all this, I'm okay with it. He should not be okay with it.
Right.
He should not.
Right.
He should be frustrated.
And he is.
And so get him the ball early in the game. Give him a hitch first 15 plays. Give him a quick out the first 15 plays. Give him a slant early on. And he will be engaged the entire game. Get him an easy completion. Let him know you're trying to get him involved. And he will be engaged the entire 60 minutes of the game. And so that's natural. If I'm AJ, but see what it is AJ has been so quiet.
Right.
He doesn't say much. And so when you guys finally start to see that, it's like, oh, wow, what's going on with AJ?
See, with you and Chad, it happened every other week. Right.
AJ's a competitor. He just shows it in a different way than myself and Chad did.
Right.
And so you should be upset. And if I'm AJ, I come out to practice and I bust everybody's ass in practice this week just to show y'all that I'm still that guy. And hopefully they'll get him involved early.
You still think he's a premier player, right?
I truly do. The way the rules are set up, you don't practice hard, you don't hit. Even during the week now, practice is easy. When we were playing, guys were getting IVs during the week practicing for Marvin. So it's different now. Yeah, I think AJ is still one of the best receivers in the league. I thought he would be the comeback player of the year. He still has an opportunity to do that if he can get on the road. But I think it's that one game where he had all those targets and no catches. I think coaches are human as well. They probably got down on him.
You're exactly right, though. You're exactly right. And I think he was exactly right today. He said if they didn't call that, if they didn't call him for the push off in the opener, and if he and Joe had connected on that pass earlier in the opener, it would have been like a 30-yard touchdown. And Joe just
win the game.
The whole thing would be different. The whole thing would be different.
That was pass interference on AJ. That was. Yeah. But the guy was holding AJ prior to the pass interference.
Right.
And so if you're holding me, I have to get you off of me. And the only way to get you off of me is to push off because you're holding me. So call both calls. Right. Call it both. They're getting a little out of hand with this offensive PI now.
Right.
Because guys are grabbing and holding, and I have to get you off me. But he's 100% right with that. He makes if the PI's not called or he catches that deep one, it's a completely different season for him. But the good thing is it's a lot of football left. Go to him early and see if you can get the old AJ back. Because if AJ can play with what they're getting out of T and Tyler and the way Joe Mixon is running the ball, it's tough to deal with that.
Yeah. So who's better, Chad or AJ? Yeah.
And so, but I would be biased and say Chad because I saw Chad every day, but obviously, statistically, it's going to be AJ.
Right. What's amazing to me is you aren't working for one of the networks. I mean, you do work for Fox, but not all the time, right?
Yes, correct.
Right, right. But you should be one of their main men.
If they knew better, they would do better.
You still want to be a GM, Hoosh?
Hobson, I think I can do a great job at that. I think it's I got coaches that I'm friends with, and I give them pointers on guys, and it's not just receivers, it's different guys. I called Marvin Lewis about Fred Warner before the draft, the 49ers best linebacker.
Right.
Called him about Fred Warner. Hey, Marvin, this dude is going to be a stud. You might want to jump on it. Look at him now. Yeah, I would like to, but I think what happens is the way that I played, and it was perceived to be angry.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure people believe that I know the game the way that I know it.
Yeah. I mean, well, we all know that's not, I mean, we all know you played with aggressiveness. I mean, you played football the way it's supposed to be played.
It's called one word. I played with passion. That's
Right.
all I played with. I played with passion.
Right. Well, what about, have you done anything with your broadcasting career? Is there stuff that you've looked at to try to expand on it?
No, I mean, just the broadcasting, but I mean, I love football. So I watch guys, and then me being around a bunch of guys doing combine training,
right.
I'm able to be around them. Like I told guys about Ayuk was going to be really good. T. Higgins is going to be really good. Chase Claypool, all the guys that I've worked with. And it's not just those guys, it's other guys throughout the league that I didn't like. And I've told coaches that as well. And so nothing is foolproof. I really believe guys that are drafted high, when they don't succeed, it's because the environment is not conducive for them to succeed. The coaching isn't what it should be. They're just not getting the most out of them. I don't really believe there's too many busts. I believe you just have to find a way to get the best out of every guy. If that coach really can hone in on what that problem is.
What'd you think about coaching?
Coaching?
Because I know you did an intern with us, because like you did an internship with us, right, for a little bit.
I did do an internship. The problem, like I love football, Hobson. Like I would like to be around football because I feel like, this sounds cocky, but I just feel like I have a lot of information and I'm really smart and I could really help a lot of players. I think it would have to be the right situation to go coach, because you lose a lot of time with your family. I never forget watching Bruce Arians, and his wife said, "What are we going to do for our son's birthday?"
Yeah.
And he said, "How old is he?" And she said 40. And he said, "Oh, literally missed the first 40 years of my son's life. I didn't know he was that old."
Yeah.
And I don't want that, because ultimately you can't get time back. You can't pay for that. You don't get that back. And so in the right situation, yes, I would, because I feel like I could be very helpful.
When you think about your Bengals career, what jumps to mind? What are your thoughts?
We underachieved. We should have been a lot more consistent. Carson doesn't get hurt. I truly, truly believe we won a Super Bowl. Nobody could stop us that year.
Yeah.
Defense was very opportunistic, get a lot of turnovers at the right times. But yeah, I think we underachieved with what the talent that we had and what we did with that talent.
You did this story on Boyd, and he was on pace like last week to get to 112. That was quite a year for you. I mean, that was actually Chad. It's amazing, though. It tells you what Chad set the Bengals record for most receiving yards. You set the record for most catches, and you went 7-9. So it's it's two great years though.
Offensively, we were good, man. We were good offensively. We had some deficiencies defensively.
How'd you get that 112th catch? Tell me how you got that 112th catch to Ty Welker, right?
Yeah, I should have actually broke the record. The Patriots went into that game wanting him to break that record, because I was ahead of him going into the last game of the season, and they literally just fed him the ball. And so Marvin comes to me. We're playing the Miami Dolphins. I'll never forget it. It's where Chad's from. How many catches you need? I'm like, it's too many. He had a good game, because we played after they played. And Going into halftime, I was like 9 catches behind them, something like that.
Yeah.
And Marvin just told Brad, "Get me the ball." Literally had like 7 catches on one drive. And I'm like, wow, they really can feed you like this if they want to. And so that's my point. Like, if they want AJ to get the ball, they can get AJ the ball.
And then you said, and then you could have had another catch, right? You could have had another catch. Would have put
we
you
ran
in
this play where I would go in motion and I would get a reverse.
Yeah.
We had done that a couple times during the game. And then we would fake the reverse and I would pivot back out and run a swing pass, and I didn't catch it. So yes, it's my fault.
Yeah, tell me, and I've always thought this, and maybe I'm nuts, but the opener that year, 2007, Monday night against Baltimore at Paul Brown, that was the loudest, craziest I ever heard the place. I mean, people can talk about the playoffs and some of those like the game against Kansas City. That opener, and you caught a long one, was the winner, because I think it was 13-7. I think Bengals won. Goal line stand, I think, but you scored one. I think you scored one of the 2 touchdowns. I think, or maybe the only touchdown. But I mean, it was electric that night, from what I remember.
If you can win in Cincinnati, it's nothing like it, man. Yeah. Just being out in the community, downtown, the way they treat you out there, the way the fans will show you, just got to win and win consistently to give them just so they're optimistic that each game they go to, you're gonna give them something to see. And that's probably what we did. Is there's so many Bengals, like I'm in California, I get Bengals fans all the time come up to me all the time.
Right.
But I think we made it cool to be a Bengals fan just because you knew it was going to be a show. We were going to put up points. We were going to have fun. Right. But yeah, we underachieved, man. We had so many good players that we just could not put it together, man. And we should have. With Carson as a quarterback, as talented as he was, we underachieved big time.
I think you tell a great story about when you ended up leaving, and you graciously, I think, tell other players this too, when you left in free agency. And
oh yeah,
I mean, and you know how you decided to go to Seattle, and then what it meant.
Yeah, I mean, for me it was that season we were bad. The prior season, my last year in Cincy, 08.
Carson got hurt.
And yeah, Carson got hurt, but I mean,
you guys didn't. But remember, you and Chad didn't work in training camp though. You guys were, I don't know if you guys were hurt or it was the contract thing or whatever. But you guys.
But we had a good year with Fitzpatrick. I had a good year with Fitz.
Yeah.
If I don't miss the last 2 games, I have 100 catches again that year.
That's true. Yeah, right. That's right.
So leaving the Bengals, it was like during the season, getting nowhere with the contract. So you kind of already have it made up in your mind that you're going to leave. And then as soon as the season ends, you kind of already know tampering happens, and it happens all the time, like multiple teams. You already know what they're going to offer you. You're sitting here like, why are they offering me so much more than the Bengals? Like, I don't get this. and so you kind of tune it out. But I mean, I did some dumb things as well myself, to be honest with you. I talked to Troy on the phone, and he was like, we're thinking about franchising you. And I should have been okay with that, because that means they wanted me to stay. Right. And I told him I wouldn't have been okay with that. Just little things like that.
And then the deal you took in Seattle wasn't all that much different, right?
Well, the guaranteed money was like $3 million more.
Yeah.
But it's no state tax, so it ends up being more. But I truly believe, and me and Marvin talked about this, that I ended up losing money in the long run. But the Bengals ended up losing money as well, trying to replace me. Right. But what I will say is, I met so many people in Seattle that I'm still friends with to this day.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time there, but like I really, you get kind of, I guess, content. And I say I got content in Cincinnati, and you don't realize, like, it's really not that bad. Like, I went to Seattle, and I was like our coaching in Cincinnati,
right? They flew you in on the lake, right? They did the thing.
Yeah, the private plane, and then when we got to the airport, we hopped in a seaplane and we landed on the lake, and then everything was nice.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, once you get to the nuts and bolts of it, which is just football, it's football.
Right.
When you get to football, and I say we in Cincinnati, and I love Jim Mora, but it was so much better in Cincinnati because we were probably overly prepared in Cincinnati. We probably had too much information in Cincinnati. I never forget being in Seattle, and we put a play in. And I said, so in cover 2, how do you want to run this route? Cover 4, single high. How? I said, because different coverages, we're going to have to run this route differently. They said to me, and I'll never forget it, Greg Knapp said, just get open. And I'm like, just get open. The quarterback needs to know how I'm going to run the route depending on the coverage. And he was like, just get open. And I said to myself, I knew it right there, because Cincinnati, it was, okay, if you get 2-man, we're running a route just like this, because the quarterback's going to know I see 2-man, we're going to run it like this. And so it was nothing I can do about it, you know.
But and also the thing in Cincinnati, you would have got all your money.
Hey, Hobson, it's really funny. Hobson, my wife is sitting next to me. She's a Houston Astro fan.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay Devil Rays just hit a home run, and she's mad.
Well, being a Red Sox fan, I'm glad to see Tampa ahead of that, being a Red Sox fan. But but like in Seattle, but like in Cincinnati, you would have stayed all 3 years, you would have got all your money, I guess is the point. Right? You would have,
and you would have, the Bengals would have beat the Jets, because there's no way that I'm not getting open that game in the playoff. There's just no way.
Right.
Because I mean, it was kind of
Revis was on Chad, right? Revis was on Chad, right? And then you would have run wild.
I would have destroyed whoever else, even because, you know, me and Mangini we got pretty cool because he works at Fox, and he said he's always respected what we did in Cincinnati. He was like, when you left, it was a lot easier to contain that offense.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't want you to miss the game. I want you to be able to watch that with the wife.
Oh, no, I'm fine. That's right in front of me. I'm fine.
Good. Okay. So it's 1-0 Tampa, is that right?
No, it's actually 3-3.
Oh,
Houston was on its way to winning the game in 3-2 series, and then the Rays just hit a home run in the top of the 8th inning to tie it 3-3.
So that's to go to the series, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how about that? All right. Well, no, but actually, I just want to thank you for spending this time, and always love chatting with you and catching up. And,
it's fun, man. Hopefully the Bengals could turn this thing around, man. Start using AJ.
Yeah. How about your advice to Tyler Boyd? Is he chases 112?
If go get the thing. Like, I mean, they made to be broken. Somebody's eventually gonna break it. Yeah. I'm sure he's off a pace now, but hey,
it's like you said, just, you know, hang with it, and you get a couple of big games.
Yeah, you're gonna have some down ones, but then you're gonna have some big ones that make up for the down ones, and you have a quarterback that can get you the ball. The only thing that could possibly derail that is if AJ Green turns back into the AJ Green. That's the only thing that would derail it, because AJ dude is super talented, man. Like, the dude is super talented. I tell the guys that I train, I'm like, if you want to know how to get off press coverage with conviction and belief in what you're doing, go watch AJ Green and Mike Thomas. Those two guys, when they release, whether it works or not, they come in with so much force and conviction, you're not stopping them. And
your most memorable game with the Bengals. We'll end it on that.
My most memorable game would probably be against the Baltimore Ravens, when I believe Chad had 10 catches for 160. I had 10 for 170. Shane Graham kicks a field goal just at the end to win it. That was probably I always remember that game.
It was Casson's coming out, Patty, I think. That was his first year, and it was like 24 points in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, because they were pretty much playing me and Chad single coverage, and Chad started to kill him.
Yeah.
So then they started to double Chad, and then I started to kill him.
Yeah.
And they probably were sitting there like, what are we gonna do now?
That was amazing. I remember Richie Bram saying Graham kicked the field goal to win it, and he turned around to shake hands, and they were all gone. All the Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, those were the days.
Cincinnati, the best place to play, man. It's nothing like it. You start winning,
Yeah.
the way they're gonna treat you out there is not like I'm still cool with people that I met in Cincinnati that I still talk to this day. I still communicate with, just all from playing out there and being out in the city with them.
Great catching up. All the best to you and the family. Hope to see you here in town pretty soon.
Yeah, man. Once this pandemic is over with, man, I'll be in the Queen City, brother.
Sounds good. Be looking forward to seeing you. Thanks, TJ.
All right, I'll take care, man.
You too.